Hello and welcome to the Satluj Podcast. Our regular guest today is Dr. Singh Grewal, MD, a distinguished cardiology specialist in California with over 48 years of experience. Dr. Grewal is also a passionate advocate for Sikh and Khalistan causes. He's the co-founder of SikhHeritageEducation.com that documents and archives material relevant to Sikh rights and history, and was also the co-founder of World Sikh News. Now, deeply impacted by the events of 1984, Dr. Grewal has since then been a very powerful advocate, ensuring the world never forgets those events. Dr. Grewal, welcome and thank you for joining us once again today.
Good morning, Angus. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Satluj TV, for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts.
A pleasure as always. Thank you for joining us. Now, Dr. Grewal, Sikhs have contributed disproportionately well to the success of India since 1947. We've had Sikh ministers, prime ministers, senior soldiers, airmen and airwomen. Indeed, Sikhs were in the vanguard of winning independence. And yet, this enormous contribution has been met with not just deep ingratitude. Sikhs have suffered persecution, oppression, and constant betrayal. So it's this topic that I would like to discuss today. And to start us off with, Dr. Grewal, I'd like to begin with the recent case of the female Indian army officer subjected to a shocking slur from a senior Indian minister. Could you tell us about what's going on there in that case and why it is so relevant to this?
So, Angus, in Punjabi language, there's a word Akertan. Simple translation is ungrateful, person who shows ingratitude, no gratitude. But Akertan is a lot more deeper. In a sense, a very bad word to describe somebody, Akertan. So this India as a country is a very Akertan, ungrateful, where patriotism meets prejudice. So this, I'm going to illustrate this by a few examples. There are thousands of examples, but a few recently, because of recent events, come to my mind. So first is India blame Pakistan for what happened in Pahalgam. So if you have a swimming pool in a public place in America, you cannot open the swimming pool without a lifeguard. And in Kashmir, they had 600,000 soldiers, and people who had gone to Pahalgam before, week or 2 weeks before, they met a lot of police checkpoints or soldiers. And that day there was no soldiers, no policemen, and very sad situation. 26 people died, and right away by evening they blaming Pakistan and they want to attack Pakistan, teach them a lesson. It was a pre-planned mission. I think very similar to what they did to the Sikhs when President Clinton visited. I think India has been trying their best to make sure the world, especially US, declare Pakistan a terrorist country. I think this is part of the plot. So during this 3-4 days of war or skirmishes, how you describe it, nobody from Prime Minister's office, Home Minister, Defense Minister, come to public to speak what's going on during the war. They chose 2 army female officers and 1 foreign secretary. They are giving people the update what happened. One of these officers is Col Qureshi. She is a colonel in the army, very decorated soldier. The other is Manmohan Singh. She's a wing commander of the Air Force. And Mr. Mishri is a foreign secretary who also is a Muslim, if I can describe well. So they are giving update what's happening, how they attack Pakistan, how they are trying to destroy the terrorist places. At the same time, there's a minister in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh means central province in India, which is a BJP government. This minister makes fun of Colonel Sophia Qureshi. He says, when these Muslims attack our people and kill them, now Modi has chosen their sister to be our spokesperson. And he says this on a public stage where there's a public function. And there are many other ministerial ranks of political people sitting, and they're clapping. They're clapping when he's saying that. So it came out so bad. The High Court of that province, the two judges, the Chief Justice, took a notice. They said this is a gutter language, this is illegal, not tolerable, and they asked the police to register FIR against this minister within 24 hours and report to them. So this was shocking to this minister because they are used to insulting people. BJP can do anything to anybody there. There's no way of running about it. So he then did apologize, but he went to Supreme Court of India to make sure that this action is not taking place. The Supreme Court did not do anything. So then there was follow-up date, which I have not any interest in seeing what happened, because we will know eventually it'll be hushed up and nothing will happen. So this Colonel Qureshi, Sophia Qureshi, is a very decorated army officer in India. She has served 6 years in Congo in the UN mission. She has served in eastern part of India during floods communication. Her grandfather was in the army, father was in the army, and her husband is army officer. Son is trying to be joining the Air Force. So this is how the people who put their life on line in India, they are treated by BJP. They will use you and then they will insult you and throw away. Another interesting thing came out. So Mr. Modi has not had the time to go to Kashmir. He never went to Manipur. He never come to Punjab during election, but he is going back to Gujarat where people are standing with their Indian flags and greeting him. He feels good because that's his state and he feels like honored. Instead of doing the real work, he's doing so. This Sophia Qureshi, Colonel Qureshi, also now belongs to Gujarat state. So the collector, who's a high government officer, calls their family and her sister comes and throwing flower petals at Modi, greeting him. And somebody asks her, what are you doing? When they are insulting your sister, what are you doing? She says, we were called by the collector, so we have to show up. If they don't show up, they'll be for the harassment. This is the state of that country. I think we need to understand. It's not that like we didn't know before, but just current events remind you again and again that what is the status of minorities, Muslims, Sikhs in that country. And then the second person, Mr. Misri, who's a foreign secretary, he's chosen to announce that they have stopped the war. There's a ceasefire. And the ceasefire is negotiated or whatever way you say, ordered by President Trump, or both countries really can't fight. They may be exhausted looking for somebody to tell them to stop. So he's chosen to announce a ceasefire. Now he's being insulted, his daughter is being insulted, that look, he ordered the ceasefire, and when we were destroying the Pakistan. He did not order the ceasefire. He just happened to be government official who's chosen to be the face of the government when the people in the government have no courage to face the people. So this is the state of affairs in India, which is a very, very unfortunate. And this is not the first time. I will give you two examples of a similar situation with the Sikhs. General Shivek Singh was the decorated Indian Army officer, Major General, who organized Mukti Bani. Mukti Bani was the Bangladesh fighting force to liberate Bangladesh, but it was mostly Indian army operation, and he was the one who organized this, and Bangladesh East Pakistan became Bangladesh. So he's one of the officer who is responsible, putting his life on the line. Then when just before retirement, some flimsy fake makeup charges, he is discharged from the army disgracefully. After putting his life on the line, liberating East Pakistan, making it a Bangladesh, now he is insulted and discharged from the army disgracefully. So he did not take it lying down. Then he went to Golden Temple, joined Sant Jarnail Singh, and he was basically responsible for training those young men and fortifying the Golden Temple complex. And that the war with India and Golden Temple is something to remember, where few hundred, at the most few hundred Sikh young men trained by General Shivek Singh gave a good fight to the army. They could not enter the Golden Temple. They lost hundreds, maybe thousands of soldiers, and they had to bring the tanks. So this is the state of affairs. You work for that country, you sacrifice your life, you put everything you have, then all you get is a dishonor or prejudice because you are Muslim, because you are Sikh. Look at Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. He liberated that country economically. The Nehru socialist policies had choked their economy and people were suffering. They were selling gold outside to meet their payments. And Manmohan Singh, being a finance expert, liberated their country, and he was the prime minister for 10 years. And the whole world honored him. He was the only Indian leader who U.S. Parliament or the Congress, both houses, invited to speak. This happened even because the Queen has never spoken before him. She did after that. So people were so impressed, and he was the invited guest, honored by the president. Whole world recognized his contribution to economy and the situation in the world. Very honorable gentleman. He was the only one who apologized on behalf of the government for 1984 attack on Golden Temple. Of course, he was not part of it. He didn't do it, but he had the courage at least to speak on behalf of the government, which nobody else did before. So he dies a few months ago, or last year. So generally, they have a place called Rajghat where they have cremation for the previous prime ministers or national level leaders. So Modi government denied him that. Because he was Sikh, he was not allowed to have, his family was not allowed to have cremation in this national place of honor, and he was cremated at some ordinary place. Why did this happen? Because he was a Sikh. So the lesson...
So Dr. Grewal, if I may just interrupt there, there is a very clear theme here that it is clearly it's a persecution of minorities. We have Col Qureshi, an Islamic member of the Muslim community. We have the Singhs that you talked about, the high achieving Sikhs, likewise, who've been insulted and persecuted. Now clearly that there is a Hindu right-wing agenda here, which is, I think, a very obvious theme. One aspect to this I would like to just briefly ask you about, specific to Col Qureshi. She is a woman, she's a very high-achieving woman. What we often talk about on our daily show is a very clear misogynistic, anti-women agenda in India. Women are not seen, certainly by the majority Hindu population, as a generalization, women are not treated as equals. They are treated as second-class citizens. There is a serious problem of assaults against women. Do you think this verbal attack on Colonel Qureshi wasn't only because she was from the Islamic community, was also because she was a woman?
Yeah, the women are not well respected, especially minority women have almost no status in India. You do your best. Look at this honorable army office, 3 generations of army officers. But they consider them, because she's a Muslim, that she is a sister of those so-called terrorists. They have not even identified who those terrorists was. Maybe the government itself is a terrorist, staged the whole thing. So, lesson for the minorities, women, Muslims, Dalits, Sikhs, you can do anything you think you're doing as a patriot, but all you earn is a prejudice. So there is no need to be gun fodder for these people. Let Vijay Shah, Modi, and Ahmed Shah go fight with Pakistan. Why do this? Sikhs this time did a good thing. In general, I think the diaspora, even in Punjab, the Sikhs didn't feel like it was their fight. And Pakistan made it clear that they don't have a fight with the Sikhs. They were not going to attack any Gurdwaras, even though they tried to involve, make up stories and all that thing. So I think the time has come. People have to realize, why are we giving our lives? Why are we sacrificing for this country which hates us? I think this must be realized by Sikhs. The people who are, because they have been in the army, they think, oh yeah, they are very brave and they are patriot. But they don't care. You know, in Punjabi, there's a proverb, you know, you're familiar with the mango fruit. There are 2 kinds of mango fruits. One you cut, one you suck on. When you suck on, and after that they throw the seed away. This is how they do. They suck like a mango and throw you like a seed when they don't have a use for you, and they insult you and do what like they did to General Shwek Singh. So there is in Sikh history, there's a metaphor for it. I'm going to describe only in English as a simple way. There was a writer, Bhai Gurdas. Bhai Gurdas has written books which are respected, not like Guru Granth, almost like the Sikhs respect and even read in the Gurdwaras. He was a scribe for Guru Granth Sahib. He was the one who wrote everything when Guru was dictating, and he was also related to the 5th Guru who compiled the Guru Granth Sahib. Bhai Gurdas, in his wars, they call wars, small stanzas, 35 stanza, 49, he describes a kirtan. A kirtan is a word, if somebody call me or you kirtan, we feel terrible. That means you have no shame, no gratitude, and ungrateful person. All of the above combined. So it's a very bad word to describe anybody. It has to be so bad that the person will be, can be condemned in society. So his writing, he says, dog's meat, which is not very popular in India, some countries eat, it's considered bad. Somebody has cooked dog's meat in alcohol, and then this meat is put in a human skull and covered with the cloth which is full of blood. And who's carrying this? Some scavenger woman, not necessarily derogatory, just because of the profession, because of the dirty hands and all that. After satisfying her lust, she is carrying this so safely covered, and some passerby says, what are you carrying so precious that you have covered it and you're afraid of? She said, I am covering it to make sure no Akertan, ungrateful person, had a look inside and destroy it. Look at the substance. Everything that you can consider bad and dirty and she's covering it. Why? She does not want Akertan to have eye on it. So this is the Indian government, Indian society. They are Akertan. You can do anything for them. They don't appreciate. They can, like a mango fruit, they can suck on you and throw it in the garbage. So I think there's a lesson to be learned from this, that we think for ourselves, especially my Sikh brothers, the ones who think they are Indians, they are sacrificing for India, they have some high officers. They are nobody. They will use them and discard them whenever they need. Same for Muslim friends. Yes, you're serving in the army. Look how they treat you. And then they had the courage to call your family to throw flowers, petals at Modi to honor them. So it's basically families being forced to act in a way it look like, yeah, we are very happy here, but nobody is happy there. So I think the time has come for Indian minorities, all minorities, to unite and get rid of this scenario and have some independence. There is no other way to end it. You can go to court like this one, okay, they registered a FIR in 24 hours because some good judges asked them to do, but eventually we know nothing will happen. With a few days, few weeks, few months, people will be forgotten. And this minister maybe become a chief minister.
Well, do you think, Dr. Grewal, as a final question then, of course, the common theme here that we're talking about is this ingratitude towards minorities, and particularly towards Sikhs as well, for the contribution. And it does imply, really, this ingratitude is almost stronger than that. It is almost a fear of the Brahmins, particularly the Hindus. The Hindu population are persecuting a minority, so it's stronger than an ingratitude. It's worse than that. And one topic that we covered actually in our show recently was a simple thing. It was talking about Sardar jokes, these jokes against the Sikh community. And research has revealed that deep down, the reason behind Sardar jokes is it is a fear, it is an insecurity, particularly from the Hindu majority, that they fear the Sikh minority. They fear the power of the Sikh minority, and that is why they try to diminish them. Do you think Hindus, and particularly the Brahmin elite, do you think they fear the Sikh community?
Yeah, Brahman unfortunately still rules by proxy because he has a control over the situation. Poor people, they have set up a system where there are few people from minorities, so-called Dalits, become officers, and then their children become officers, and their children become officers. So become a class like that, and they have chosen happily to serve the Brahman. But majority of the poor people, Dalit minorities, suffer. They suffer. They choose few to serve them, and then they do atrocities on the other poor people. I think the society overall has a bad situation for a minority. If you're a minority and you're Muslim, you're Sikh, and you're Dalit, you are insulted every day. People are being killed, raped, especially women of a poor class, Dalits. They can be insulted any time. There is no recourse. And look at, they put these two women officers in the front and the foreign secretary who's a Muslim to speak on their behalf. But they should be the one going to public and explaining what happened, what they did, because they don't have the courage. What they did is not right. Now they're using other people and they're insulting. I think time is ripe. People have to understand, especially in India, what are we sacrificing for? What is our status in this society? What is our status in this society? Nobody. You can be killed, you can be fired, you can be insulted. Doesn't matter what you have done for the country.
A very clear message to end on, but there we must leave it. But we will be talking to Dr. Grewal again soon to continue this discussion. Dr. Grewal, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us once again.
Thank you, Angus. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching the Satluj TV podcast. We will see you next time.